Yo, what's good, YouTube? Today we are going to get into this reaction. We're going to be reacting to how a YouTuber's merchandise can determine their reputation. So let's get into this reaction video. You can see me live on Twitch all right here. Most of the time, probably like I don't got a schedule, but you can catch me live on Twitch right there. We're gonna get straight into this video.
Who released a movie that flopped upon release. In 2024, when Ryan Kaji and his parents decided to create something larger than their channel, they faced more than a few hurdles while trying to find money for it.
We had to put a big stake on the movie production. We financed it along with
A movie production. A movie.
the other for this movie production. We put ourselves a big bet on this movie.
Paying out of pocket, the family gambled away $10 million of their money and eventually had nothing to show for it, failing to make less than $1 million back. The animation was alright, but the plot didn't exist, and it practically bored children enough to fall asleep. If you thought watching a kid open toys for hours on YouTube was rough, buckle up. This movie is like being trapped in a commercial for 90 minutes, but without the cool part where the commercial ends. My balls fell off. The new movie actually made things worse for the channel after allegations came out against Ryan's parents, as people claimed his parents were exploiting their own child for money, writing, "It's actually sad how not only is Ryan's parents gonna keep milking him, but that he isn't gonna have a proper childhood anymore with all the wealth and fame he gets, and that he's gonna be bullied a lot as well." Some users on Reddit even claimed that the movie was a strategic move to pull his two 7-year-old sisters named Emma and Kate, who are probably gonna replace the channel when Ryan gets too old. Needless to say, the channel is already suffering reputation, just got worse after the movie's release. I'm surprised his channel has managed to become such a huge brand outside of opening.
Did you watch the movie? Because if you go to the theaters and say, "Oh, I'm about to watch that new Ryan tour review film," what did you expect actually though? Like at a certain point, you can't blame it on the people.
Toys. There seriously needs to be stricter laws for children in the entertainment industry. Ryan's movie was the perfect representation of his parents' greed, but just when you thought integrity was dead, Oompaville stepped up. In 2019, Caleb did what every YouTuber does after becoming successful on the platform: look for new ways to make money. That's how he had the idea of starting his own candy company called Sour Boys. While the brand might have started as a way to diversify Caleb's income sources, it still came from a love for all things candy.
And I was like, what can I do to make money on YouTube that isn't just the same thing that everybody else does? And I settled on potentially creating a candy company because I love candy.
After years of hard work, Sour Boys was finally available to purchase for $5.99 a bag when Caleb was happy with the product. And the amount of work put into the product showed, as his fans raved about the gummies, claiming that they'd order Sour Boys on a consistent basis, since it wasn't your average get-rich-quick scheme, but rather felt genuine. As one comment stated, they truly are absolutely delicious. But it wasn't just luck, as Caleb actually perfected the gummy consistency just by doing his fair share of research.
I started by reading a bunch of books on manufacturing of candy and like the business aspects of it, and also simultaneously calling every single co-manufacturer that I could possibly find in America. And that was tough. No one wanted to work with me. They did not like me at all.
Thankfully,
What happened to YouTubers making merch? Everybody's making candy and food now. Drippy cheese. Drippy cheese.
and the brand's popularity steadily grew every year since its launch, which is pretty impressive for someone who started this whole thing on his own, without any outside investments.
So you hired a lot of your family and friends. Did any of them know actually how to start a candy company?
No. Nobody knew how to start a candy company. I was the closest thing to that, and that's just because I read books.
Except for Mr. Beast, who invested $1 million. This gave Caleb a good reputation as a YouTuber who had a genuine passion and shared it with his audience, which is not something you can say about Gabby Hanna. The Gabby Show was Gabby's go-to outlet for sharing her crazy stories and animated rants with the internet. She dominated the niche back in 2016 and still has over 5 million subscribers as of 2025. And although her first side hustle was a successful music career, Gabby decided to take a shot in the dark and ultimately made herself a viral laughingstock overnight. It started in 2017 when she decided to publish a book which she claimed was a raw, emotional deep dive into her inner world. But what her fans got instead was a $17 paperback mess full of bad grammar and sloppy quotes, with pages such as like, "I didn't think I was gonna like it the way that I like it, but I like it," as well as a whole page saying sad grammar and sloppy quotes. With pages such as, like, I didn't think I was gonna like it the way that I like instead was a $17 paperback mess full of bad grammar and sloppy quotes. With pages such as, like, I didn't think I was gonna like it the way that I like it, but I like it, as well as a whole page saying sad is fine. It's no surprise most of the reviews called it absolutely one of the worst garbage fire pieces of trash I've ever read, and felt like starting a movement against the atrocious cruelty committed against trees that were cut down for producing this horrendous piece of shit. Despite all of this, Gabby somehow ended to release a follow-up that got way more bad reviews because it once again reads like a bunch of tweets with a poetic tilt but no actual development. What seemed eccentric and innovative at first now felt like Gabby's unedited diary pages and filler content with a barrage of negative comments from people online.
Sadly, my first impression of Gabby's poetry was that it's all quite shallow. It's very much what you see is what you get. And honestly, her poetry just feels kind of lazy.
Leading Gabby to finally lose it, because I frankly don't give a fuck anymore. I think it's really lame that a bunch of non-creative, insecure, neurotypical people dragged my poetry for months for views on YouTube and TikTok instead of creating their own art. It became clear that Gabby was awful at taking any real criticism, which led her fans to stop trying to defend her. I do think though that something is wrong with Gabby. This just isn't normal behavior even if she says she is trolling. Just log off, Gabby. How embarrassing. Gabby started going off the rails and ruined her own reputation by accusing anything and everyone of being a narcissistic abuser or manipulator.
I accept my criticism from talented, smart people, not abusive, toxic, exploitative bullies on YouTube.
And inevitably lost 80,000 subscribers over the following year. Although the internet didn't hesitate to tear Gabby Hanna's half-assed book apart, it was a lot more charitable when it came to two creators who actually gave a damn about what they were selling. Launched in October of 2023, Grog was an alcoholic drink made by the creators of Cold Ones, which had 0 added sugar and 120 calories per can. Unlike Gabby's terrible art, this was a product built on two things: authenticity and quality. Fans didn't just buy it for the bit, they bought it because Cold Ones delivered.
That's awesome. Wow, that is really nice. That is like super easy to drink.
And by popular demand, the drink started lining up the
Really nice. That is like super easy to drink.
And by popular demand, the drink started lining up the shelves in American convenience stores as early as February 2025. No typos, no false promises, just a stupidly fun product that matched their brand perfectly. In their first month, Grog didn't just hit shelves, it exploded online, with their Instagram page now having over 135,000 followers and over 250,000 units sold in that initial frenzy, showing that fans clearly weren't just curious anymore. This cemented their reputation as real competitors in the alcohol industry simply because of them putting effort into making a quality product. The same can't be said for MKBHD and his glorified wallpaper app called Panels. It was released back in late 2024, and Marques Brownlee thought it was the quintessential answer to people asking him where he got his wallpapers from. But Panels turned out to be a huge disappointment. With a price of $50 a year, users all over the tech space were quick to bash it for the price and other issues.
At a certain point, people get unless you do something really, really crazy, you really can't be torn down. MKBHD, he's when you think about tech, you think about him. So I feel like no matter what, he can't be 100% fully destroyed for whatever he does.
Instead of giving people the right answer, MKBHD made the mistake of creating his own app with a subscription model for services that were useless to the viewers. It lacked the care and polish that Marques was known for, things he demanded from the tech companies he was always so hard on. And the irony wasn't lost on his fans, stating, "Very disappointing to see him basically admitting to whaling his own fans and followers. It feels like the type of critique he would levy against tech companies often, yet here he's doing it himself." But the worst part was that the app's user interface was dull and basic, and the wallpapers looked like they were made with generative AI, which viewers saw as an insane money grab from MKBHD. To put the AI allegations to rest, all MKBHD did was shift the blame and throw the artists affiliated with him under the bus, stating these are all made by artists who can choose to involve AI or not in their creative process. It'll be up to you how much you value the human touch. Considering everything.
Wait. So it's not his ideas if people was asking for his wallpapers and he made it after his wallpapers? What?
It's no surprise the backlash from this app's release basically destroyed his credibility in the online tech community. Eventually, MKBHD tried to do some damage control by claiming half the profits went to the artists he worked with.
And the third important point is that we're splitting profits with the artists 50-50. This is something I mentioned in the original video.
But the internet was not having any of it. Charging his subs $50 for wallpapers and the artists on their 50% is either insanely money hungry or just extremely out of touch. Marquez responded to the criticism saying the target market for this is insanely small. Most people don't download a wallpaper app. This is for those who have been asking. If you're not into it,
That is true though. Like, the average person goes to Pinterest, search up Spider-Man wallpaper. Like, this is what you get.
don't worry about it. To think none of this would have happened if he just stuck to his golden #1 rule of the internet, never try to charge for something that was already free, which he seemingly forgot despite saving it for future reference. But unlike Marquez, who ruined his reputation with a quick cash grab, Max the Meat Guy is a self-made entrepreneur
Like, at a certain level, unless you say you supported slavery, nothing could be that.
who used his love for protein to tackle the dried meat industry in America. This passion project started back in China in 2015, with Max coming up with the idea to start a jerky company, and now it's a polished product with great reviews backing it online. A lot of his customers appreciate the heart Max put into his products, saying Max jerky is pretty tasty. Really solid jerky. You can tell the ingredients are high quality, flavor and spices balanced perfectly, no chemical undertones.
But I think this is A, because I think this is better than many competitors in the market. And I'm not a beef jerky guy. I want to state that.
As a former cook, he had a dream to turn his hobby into a business well before he even started his own YouTube channel.
A lot of people don't know this, but it is because of beef jerky. It was like the original passion, and it was the spark that got me into essentially becoming a meat guy.
But when the pandemic stripped away his chances to returning to mainland China,
by the time I was ready to go back to China, they had closed the borders to Americans.
Tonight, more countries joining the United States in a temporary ban on foreigners who've traveled to China.
That was 3 years ago, and I have never been back. My apartment, my furniture, my suits, my clothing, my whole life is still there. It's actually frozen in time.
as well as devastating news about his mom.
We're, a month away from launching this thing. Unfortunately, we get news that my mom got sick.
Max lost everything, but once he started making YouTube videos, Max decided to start making jerky all over again. Now, he is well respected and beloved by the community, and within a couple of years, Max Jerky developed a decent-sized following on social media and even found its way onto Walmart shelves. Max's commitment to his jerky is the main reason why he's built such a massive following online. Unfortunately, Eric couldn't replicate that magic with his own food product, despite publicly claiming his love for pizza. In 2023, Eric decided to release his own sauce called Pizzafy and claimed it was basically a pizza in a bottle. He was pretty ambitious about it, but his critics were just as loud-spoken as he was, especially considering the bottle's price. To most people, Pizzafy was just an overpriced pizza sauce with nothing special about it.
It's like a higher quality version of the pizza sauce from Lunchables, but does it taste?
Alright, I found the perfect way to go about this. First, set it for a really low price. And then when people already said they like it, then you put up the price. And if they say they don't like you, just say you already said. It's simple. People don't think.
Tastes like an entire pizza? No.
Plus, Eric's reputation online at the time wasn't exactly inspiring any confidence in that product either. Inevitably, it was just another internet fail that lost him more potential viewers and barely generated any hype for itself. I don't know the numbers, but I've personally bought it once and never again. Even though Pizzafy failed to deliver on the promise, Joyride did the quite opposite. Despite what most people think, Joyride was actually started by another person called Tyler Merrick, and the company was already a successful candy manufacturer before Ryan Trahan joined the project. After becoming a co-owner/partner, Ryan released a new line of signature flavors to rebrand the company's image, and while it took a while before the product took off, with Ryan's aggressive marketing, it started gaining some traction online. At first, most people thought it was pretty misleading, as they thought Ryan actually made the brand, and called Ryan the guy who bought a candy company and acted like he started it himself. Some customers even found the texture rather weird, stating that it came in a melted together ball, but despite the mild controversy, controversies, Joyride was a huge win for Ryan. I really like them, to be honest. The sour strips are really solid. Overall price could be a bit better, but 9 out of 10. He gained a lot of credibility for delivering a solid food product, while most YouTubers basically fail by offering outsourced and overpriced goods. Even professional chef LilDjLive gave it some solid reviews all across the board.
And last but not least, strawberry. Best smelling one yet. This one, I'm gonna have to go with that.
He was gonna say 10 out of 10.
If you enjoyed this,
What?
subscribe.
Yo, that was a W video.